sit back, relax, and enjoy, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
It's not gonna happen, and Daniel McMillan,
Pennsylvania native, kept here winning here at Pocono.
Third win of the season, and win the championship.
Ryan Benjamin with the last lap pass.
And he is going to score the victory in the Minute Maid 300.
Salmon Oskin, third win of the season.
He's gonna get it and only leads 3 laps today.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.
Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 23 in season number 5 of the NOFSRL Turkey Hill Series. For the first time ever, we head to Colorado, here at the Pikes Peak International Raceway for the Colorado 200. 40 laps of action around this 1.06 mile racetrack in Fountain, Colorado. And tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the Haas IndyCar Series will be here, and joining alongside me is the guy who has a 90-point lead in the Haas IndyCar Series, Chase Harris himself. And Chase, these cars go much slower than you guys do in the IndyCar Series, but what do you think of all these guys in this field? A few of them have run an IndyCar here before. What can you take from those IndyCar races and apply it to the stock car race that we're going to have here today?
Well, I mean, since the IndyCar Series is going to Pikes Peak this weekend, I really think that a lot of them are going to be looking at this race and seeing what in the world, they can do to figure out how to get around this place. So that's definitely a help towards us. But I think that right now, I'm not really sure how this race is going to go. I just think it's going to be definitely unpredictable, but it should be a good one.
Of course, this racetrack is always unpredictable, especially in the IndyCar Series. They're going to have a 50-lap race tomorrow, but this is a rescheduled race originally, and due to the whole COVID-19 pandemic and everything kind of got rescheduled with IndyCar on our end to more line up with real-life IndyCar, and Canadian Tire got pushed back to August 22nd. These guys are going to be in Gateway that weekend, so they couldn't move along with them, so we just moved the Turkey Hill Series to Pikes Peak. So this race was originally going to be Canadian Tire, but we moved to Pikes Peak so that they could stick along with the IndyCar Series for this race weekend. Chick-fil-A Cup Series overseas this weekend over at the Rockingham Motor Speedway in the United Kingdom, but these guys are staying in the United States of America for this weekend. This side lineup in the point standings, and Carter Friesen, the new points leader here in the Turkey Hill Series, had a great run at Boston last weekend, 558 points towards the championship for him. Zachary DeLello only 4 points behind. Josh King, who has been the points leader in the series for a long time, is now 10 points behind. And then Clark McKee and Trey Smith, both 36 points behind. It is a very tight points battle with only 6 races remaining. You got Pikes Peak, Michigan next weekend, Watkins Glen, Gateway, Daytona, and Darlington. Those are the only 6 races left, and those are a bunch of crazy places to go to. It's going to be interesting to see who gets it done here in the Turkey Hill Series Championship. Starting on the pole position, number 73, Bobo Jones, won at Charlotte earlier this year. He's going to be alongside the number 75 of Alex Bonsignor in the Her scheme. That's a friendly scheme to you, my good man Chase Harris. And you got Dylan Young, our last winner here in the Turkey Hill Series. Got it done at Boston on pit strategy. We'll have to see if that comes to effect here today. He's alongside Logan Williams in the number 37. Ryan Benjamin alongside John Andrews in row number 3. Trey Smith to the inside of Zachary DeLello. Great opportunity for DeLello to gain some points on Carter Friesen to possibly take the points lead. You got Hunter Blade and National Boyd rounding out the top 10 starting positions here from Pikes Peak. And these guys roll off here. 40 drivers in the field. Carter Friesen, points leader, starting 39th. Josh King, 3rd in points. Much better starting position on the inside lane midway through the field. Chase, who do you think is going to go to victory lane here today in this 40-lap race at the Pikes Peak International Raceway?
I mean, of course, I want to see Alex get that dub in the Hearst car, but I don't know. I think if you're on the pole here, I think that could turn out pretty good, so I think I'm going to go with Bobo Jones in this one.
Not a bad pick there for Prince Racing. Of course, both of their drivers on Ryan Durrani's team have won this year. Let's see if Bobo Jones can get it done. He's had a lot of good success in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series in the hot seat. We'll have to see if he gets some success here at Pikes Peak in the Turkey Hill Series. Here we go. Bobo Jones, Alex Bonsignor on the front row. We're green flag racing here at the Pikes Peak International Raceway. Colorado 200 is green here from Fountain, Colorado.
And into Turn 1 they go. Nice start for Bobo Jones. He's going to clear the 75, and now here comes the good old, it's at the 48 of Dylan Young. Here he
Last
comes.
week's winner right there. Looking to the inside on the first lap of action here from Pikes Peak. They're going to be side by side off the corner here. This is going to be a tight one at the line. It might open the door for Bogner to get a run. But lap 1 will be led all around. Josh King! And someone stopped on the racetrack.
Looks like somebody hit hard.
Oh boy, it was the number 41 of Josh King, and he is destroyed.
Yeah, that car's
Jeremiah
done.
Dwayne as well.
Dang, you hate to see that, especially on the first lap, man. That always sucks.
Yeah, it does. Early wreck here at Pikes Peak for these guys. First time on this racetrack for a lot of these drivers. Clark McKee, 36 points behind, was involved. Mark Allen, Noah Clifton as well. And then, on the racetrack, the 93 of Zach Rogers was completely stopped. The caution was probably already out before the wreck occurred, but I believe Zach Rogers may be out of the race now. He's already a lap down, and Josh King, once again, is going to fall behind in the points significantly. As Carter Friesen was able to avoid that accident, he's going to come down and pit here. He may have actually gotten caught up in the number 23 machine, possibly. We'll have to see how all this happened, but it seemed like it was a pretty big wreck in the back of the field right there on lap number 1.
Both times that I've commentated, there's been an early wreck, so maybe I have a curse on me.
Well, to be fair, the other race you commentated was IRP, and that's a bit of a wreckfest racetrack. But here we had no clue how it's going to turn out. Already, it's been a bit of a disaster for some guys. We actually did get 2 laps in, so the caution had yet to come out when that wreck occurred. Dylan Young won the race back to the line, going for 2 in a row here in the Turkey Hill Series. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day here in the Colorado 200 from Pikes Peak. Well, this is entering turn number 3, and just like in the IndyCar Series, 3 and 4 wide entering the corner. It is a rather wide racetrack here. Landon Smith Jr., though, loses the grip exiting the corner, and Josh King is to his outside. And it's tough break for Josh King these past couple of races. Boston did not end well for him, lost the points lead, and he's going to fall back even further after this one. Hard into the outside wall, and this is an older version of Pikes Peak. No safer barrier, so that's going to end his day. Seth Cole with damage, and Clark McKee got sideswiped by Carter Friesen, the points leader. This is opening up to be a huge opportunity for Zachary DeLello in the points. Brandon Mayhew, Edwin Mendez gets shoved up into the wall. Then Noah Clifton back in there. Mark Allen, Mitchell Collins, Jeremiah Dwayne, nowhere to go. And then we noticed that the number 93 of Zach Rogers was stopped on the racetrack. It was a completely separate incident, but he had a problem on the start of the race, and he is going to be out as well for the Scorpion Motorsports team. But the big story right there, Josh King, the 41 points leader 2 races ago. Now it looks like he may end up being at least 40 points out of the points lead heading into the next race here in the Turkey Hill Series.
And so here you can see right here, yep, the 11 just forces the 41 up, and there's nothing the 79 can do. And so it just ends up taking out a lot of cars in the back. That's what you see a lot at a lot of racetracks, is the cars in the back normally race harder than the cars in the front just because they're trying to get towards the lead. So it's an unfortunate situation, and hopefully we don't see that again.
We're just going to have to see how it all goes down. It's going to be an interesting day here at the Pikes Peak International Raceway. Dylan Young, though, been on a bit of a hot streak as of late. Pulled great strategy at Boston to get the race victory there, and now he's just gone to the race lead here at Pikes Peak. Let's see if he can hold on to it on the restart here in the Colorado 200 in the Turkey Hill Series race number 23. We're back here at the Pikes Peak International Raceway, and it's Dylan Young, number 48 machine, who will lead us to the green flag. He's led every lap so far in this race, as we're going to restart on lap 7 of 40. Out of the race includes Mark Allen, Josh King, and an ignition issue on Zach Rogers at the start of the race. Tough break for him. A lap down already include Clark McKee, who was involved in the accident, Seth Cole, and Carter Friesen, the points leader. That is massive right there. The way they are currently running, Zachary DeLello, who's going to restart in 10th, would take the points lead away. It's been a strong season for DeLello and that number 80 machine for NS Racing. It's Dylan Young, Alex Bonchinour, Bobo Jones, Logan Williams, and Ryan Benjamin back to racing here in the Colorado 200.
Into turn 1 goes Dylan Young in that 48 forward, and as you can see, he got a pretty good restart right there. But here comes that 75 Alex Bonds and Yorn.
Oh, and somebody's blowing up. Hunter Blade in the 9.
Oh,
And another wreck in the back of the field.
63's around, just calamity.
Number 9 of Hunter Blade blew an engine, and they all scrambled to avoid. The caution is back out again.
Dylan Young leader.
And Dylan Young, he doesn't mind all these cautions because he has to race everybody less. But Hunter Blade blowing an engine, causing this whole shebang to go down the backstretch. Saw Jonathan Logan, I should say, go around. I don't think this was as near of a big accident as the first one. I think they just simply spun and triggered the yellow flag. Tough break there for Scorpion Motorsports. That's their second mechanical issue in this race. Zach Rogers also had an issue. If I was the number 19 machine, I'd be worried. And very interesting strategy here. The fuel window's about 20 laps, right at halfway, and these guys are going to come down now. So they're probably still going to have to make another stop in this race. I'm not going to make that mistake again. We made that mistake at Boston, and they came down right at the end of the race. But Dylan Young going to lead them down here for the first pit stop of the day here at Pikes Peak. We'll have to see who wins the race off the pit lane here in the Colorado 200.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not really sure what strategy these guys are playing. I don't understand how this works at all. I'd say you just go for one pit stop and try to stretch the fuel. This doesn't make a lot of sense. A lot of
strategy, though, going on right here. Ashlyn Boyd and John Andrews going to jump the field. Then Ryan Benjamin, Bobo Jones, and the number 66 of Trey Smith, Parker Smith, and then Dylan Young in the 48. Bonksinger was going to fall back quite a bit there in the 75 machine, but split strategy. Yeah. Some guys taking tires, some guys not. Tire wear is pretty significant here. You definitely want fresh rubber, and that's probably why all of these guys came down. But it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out here as this race goes on. Let's get to the replay of the accident and see what happened. Bring out the second caution already, not even a quarter of the way through the Colorado 200 here at Pikes Peak. You're going to see right here, Hunter Blade, number 9, just blows up in the middle of the corner, and he's on the outside lane, so it is extremely difficult to merge back down. And all these guys start to stack up behind him because of the blown engine. You see the 47, Jacob Hammond, get a run to the inside of Zach DeLello back in there. DeLello has nowhere to go. And Jonathan Logan, number 63, was the first guy I saw go around. This was at the back of the field here. And actually, this might have been a completely separate incident. Edwin Mendez was way up the racetrack, and Mitchell Collins got bumped around a little bit there, and that sent the 63 around. That was a minor incident. 63 went around, but no major contact after that, and then they couldn't avoid the number 9 of Hunter Blade. Joshua Rush got him to Jordan Lopez, and Rush sent Blade around and into the outside wall. I think Brandon Mayhew avoided it, barely, and that was it. I don't think anyone's going to get knocked out from this one. Hunter Blade took the worst shot, and he was already out because of his engine failure, so could have been a lot worse here, but thankfully it wasn't.
And yeah, so you just see right there, the 9 just blows up, and I mean, there's really nothing anybody can do at this point. You know, the stack-up plays an effect, but really back there you can see just a whole different incident. I'm not really sure what happened there. And then, I mean, they just end up stacking up in front of them as well due to the 9 of Hunter Blade.
Yeah, it's a tough break there for Hunter Blade, all those guys involved. Jonathan Logan and Joshua Rush going to lose a few positions out of all that. But some guys are going to gain some positions. Ashlyn Boyd, the new race leader, I believe he, along with John Andrews, either took 2 tires or no tires on the pit stop, but the whole field is completely shuffled around now. Ashlyn Boyd looking to get this race victory here at Pikes Peak. Let's see if we can get some green flag racing in here at Pikes Peak, shall we? Get to the restart here in the Colorado 200. Back here at Pikes Peak International Raceway, lap 11 of 40. Nobody going to be out of the race except for Hunter Blade, obviously, because of his header issue. Tough break there for the number 9, I should say. But no new drivers out of the race or a lap down. We do have Dylan Young coming back down the pit lane, and that is a good day gone worse for him. So tough break for Dylan Young, last week's winner. He will remain on the lead lap. Noah Clifton came and topped off as well. Ashlyn Boyd, John Andrews, Bobo Jones, Ryan Benjamin, Trey Smith, the top 5. Back to racing at Pikes Peak. See if we can get some green flag racing in this time.
Ashlyn Boyd leads into turn 1, but man, I'm telling you one thing, the 32 of Josh Andrews did not have a bad restart either. It's going to be pretty close between these two. You can see trying to get the run off the high line, but I'm not sure if it's working out.
John Andrews, an experienced Napa fan veteran here. Same with Ashton Boyd. I mean, both these guys have been around for quite some time. Ashton Boyd's actually raced full-time in the series in the past, and doing a nice job right now. He's yet to win a race this season. Same with Andrews. Andrews has had a very good run in the points this season, but as of late, he's kind of slipped up a little bit. As far as I know, he's the highest driver in points without a win. So not too bad for the driver, the number 32 for American Motorsports. Of course, American is yet to win a race this season in the Turk Ale Series. We have to see if John Andrews can do that. Bobo Jones is third. Got a battle here. Parker Smith to the inside of Ryan Benjamin. That is for the fourth position. And Zachary DeLello looking to take the points lead. Carter Friesen's a lap down. Josh King is out of the race. A huge opportunity for DeLello to head into Michigan as the points leader.
Yeah, no doubt about that, but not a lot of battling. Unlike earlier, maybe people have come to their senses and realized you don't have to be so aggressive this early in the race, you know, just wait for later in the race. So we're not seeing as much battling, which is unfortunate for the viewers, but for some of the drivers it's definitely good.
Ryan Benjamin, Parker Smith, they were side by side for well over a lap right there. It's going to open the door for Zachary DeLello to make a move to the inside of the 21. Here comes Daniel Voiles. Jonathan Logan is down the pit lane in the 63 there. And remember, he had his incident. You got to watch out for him. He's going to be merging back on the traffic right here, and hopefully he can do so cleanly. And it looks like he will. So good job out of Jonathan Logan, those guys, avoiding any calamity right there. Got Kashawn Richardson in 25 ahead of those guys. DeLello tried to slide up on Ryan Benjamin. That's going to open the door for Daniel Voiles to make it 3 wide for the 5th position. And Benjamin way up the racetrack there in the 21 machine as these guys continue to battle here at Pikes Peak.
Man, this is, I actually wasn't expecting, oh, car on the wall back there.
I think Jonathan Logan might have slid up in the Bonchinoor possibly, and they almost had another accident right there, but they keep it together, thankfully.
Yep, so that's good, but, man, it just seems like coming off of turn 2, it's so much tighter than coming off of 3 and 4. I just don't know, why that's the case.
Well, I will say, the front stretch does have that curve. It's a straightaway down the backstretch. It's much tighter off the corner because they have to turn more off the exit. Off of turn number 4, you can actually slide up a little bit and the wall curves out. So that's why it's a little bit tighter there off of turn number 2 than it is off of turn number 4. That's why I think we're seeing those guys get kind of tight there off the exit of that corner. But you see Trey Smith here, looking for his 4th win of the season. Won Armory Digital not that long ago. He's got a great shot at moving up in the points. He came in 36 behind Carter Friesen. Carter Friesen is currently deep in the field in the 36th position. And Trey Smith is currently 28 positions ahead of him. So that means Trey Smith would be 8 points behind Carter Friesen. However, another guy who's battling in this championship is Zachary DeLello. And he's actually fallen back. Trey Smith looking to gain on DeLello as well. So Smith doing a great job so far here at Pikes Peak in this whole season. Won the opener at Daytona. Won 3 times this season. Won at our home racetrack, Dover, back in May. We're just going to have to see if he can possibly close out a championship for the single-car team there of North State Racing. Battle for second. They're closing in on John Andrews. Here comes Parker Smith, 44 to the inside of Bobo Jones for 3rd.
Yeah, here comes that 44, man. I'm telling you, he could be a guy to watch out for as well. But yeah, you are right. Dover is actually both of our home tracks, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, nice battle here for 3rd and actually 2nd because it looks like Parker Smith might be putting the pressure on John Andrews as well. But
John
right
Andrews
now,
he's putting the pressure on Ashland Boyd here. They're all on each other for this race lead. Andrews may get a run off the corner here. Now, you got to remember, tire wear is coming into play, but you also got to remember, pretty much all these guys are going to have to make another stop in this race. And that's definitely going to shake up the field once you get to that point. Halfway here in the Colorado 200, and John Andrews to the inside for the race lead on Ashland Boyd. We'll have to see if he can hold that inside lane, or will Boyd get the run up top. That outside lane is pretty strong in some places, but Andrews will hold the inside in turn 3. But Ashland Boyd going to hang on, and that might give Parker Smith an opportunity for 2nd on the 32. Boyd slides up the racetrack, and here comes Andrews once again to the inside.
Man, that 32, John Andrews, he got a pretty big run off that corner there. I'm very surprised to see that on the bottom line. But he is right there, and I think he might be able to get by Ashland Boyd going in 3 and 4. It depends how big of a run Boyd gets here. We're going to see going in turn 3.
Does have some help there from Bobo Jones in the 73. That might help him out there. John Andrews on the inside off of turn 4. And it looks like the 32 will take the race lead away on lap 22 of 40. New leader, John Andrews. And it looks like he should be able to clear entering turn number 1 this time. Not exactly. Boyd hanging tough on the outside lane. And he's going to slide up. 3 wide for second. Parker Smith will run to the inside. And Bobo Jones might clear for the second position as Boyd falls back in the 87.
I guarantee you John Andrews wanted to see that longer so he could get a gap, but Bobo Jones says, no, I'm going for the lead. I'm going to pass by both of you.
Now Bobo Jones, the pole sitter, is yet to lead a lap in this race. A huge run to the inside. He had a shot there from Parker Smith entering turn 1. And meanwhile, you got Ryan Benjamin, Daniel Voiles, Lathan Strickland, Keshawn Richardson moving their way through the field. You might be noticing Jonathan Logan moving as well. Oh, and around! Matthew Brown, Dale Salzman, and a hard hit there. Nick Smith and Zachary DeLello.
Car upside down.
Jordan Lopez also got caught up as well, and it's another stack up here at the Pikes Peak International Raceway. Lopez is destroyed, but Zachary DeLello took a massive shot in the 80 machine, and he's going to lose out on points here. I believe Carter Friesen might be able to finish ahead of him now that this has happened. What a tough break there for the 80 of Zachary DeLello.
Man, you don't see a car flip at Pikes Peak very much. That was pretty violent.
We have seen a lot of flips in the IndyCar series here before, I will say that much. Didn't expect it in the stock car, though.
I hope I'm not one.
Well, we'll just have to see tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I know a lot of guys would probably like to see that happen. You've just been spanking the field all season.
Yeah.
John Andrews going to lead the field down the pit lane, 15 laps to go. Fuel will not be an issue, so they're going to be good to go from here. But we'll have to see if we see strategy play this time around. This is a good opportunity for John Andrews to get his first win of the season. Been a while since he's won a race on Napa Fan. Of course, like I mentioned, a very experienced veteran here on the channel. Been around since 2015. We're going to have to see. He takes 2 tires. It looks like going to be a 4-tire stop for him. A little bit different than what we saw out of him earlier on, but it looks like it might be a 4-tire stop for a lot of these guys. John Andrews going to get off right there, and he will win the race off the pit lane. Parker Smith, Bobo Jones, Ryan Benjamin, Lathan Strickland. Boyd fell back a few positions there off the pit lane in the 87.
That's not good for Ashton Boyd because it doesn't seem like passing is the easiest so far today, because if people get a run on that outside, man, it can really hurt you. So hopefully
what he can do. Trey Smith also lost a few positions. He's the only guy in the top 5 in points in this race who has not had an issue here today. So huge opportunity for Trey Smith to rocket up towards the points lead. You see Carter Friesen still on the pit lane, but he was a lap down. However, Friesen will most likely finish ahead of DeLello in this race, as DeLello in the number 80 machine is going to be knocked out. A lot of guys going to be knocked out after this one. A huge wreck down the backstretch to bring out our 3rd caution of the day here in the Colorado 200. Coming off at turn 2, Jonathan Logan slid up in the Matthew Brown here, and Logan was a lap down, had fresher tires. He was working his way through the field. Brown had nowhere to go and got clipped with Salzman, and this is what started the whole thing. Number 24 machine going around. Dale Salzman nowhere to go either. And then Nick Smith, one of the first guys to hit right there, his teammate Matthew Brown. I think Nick Smith should be able to continue, even though that was a relatively hard hit. But Zachary DeLello, nowhere to go. All I can see is smoke, and then the number 12 of Dale Salzman upside down. Wild wreck right there. And then Salzman's teammate, Jordan Lopez, got a heavy hit. That's going to knock Lopez out. Bongsinor got sideswiped in the 75. He went spinning. Mendez went around. Brandon Mayhew went around. Dylan Young was in the middle of all that. Nashville winner Chloe Reiner. Then Christopher Alpheby in the 19 machine. All jam it up at the end of this one. It's a tough place to avoid an accident. It's a very interesting racetrack, but the wrecks that we get here always seem to be pretty large, and our second massive accident here today at the Pikes Peak International Raceway.
So right here you see it's just super tight between these 3 cars, and just ends up putting both of them in the wall. And we see some hard hits and a wild ride right there for the 12. Man, that was a violent impact. Car flipped a couple of times, landed on its roof, which is pretty bad to have happen with all that fuel spilling out. But a lot of cars involved, a lot of good cars involved, and so that's really unfortunate. But hopefully again, as I said earlier, I hope we don't see another big wreck, but right now it's looking like that might be a possibility.
Well, we could run out of time before we see another big wreck. We will probably restart around 11, 12 laps to go here at Pikes Peak. Going to be interesting to see who gets it done. John Andrews, your race leader. Let's see if he can hold him off for his first win of the season here in the Colorado 200 at Pikes Peak. We're back here at the Pikes Peak International Raceway. One thing to point out, Kashawn Richardson in the 25 did come down the pit lane. Might have been a similar issue to what happened with Dylan Young earlier on. We saw him do the same under the last caution, but there's Kashawn Richardson coming off right there. John Andrews, Parker Smith, Bobo Jones, Ryan Benjamin, and Lathan Strickland. That's the top 5 coming to the restart with 12 laps to go under green. Hopefully it will remain that way. And out of the race.
Lots of cars.
Lots of cars. Jordan Lopez, Alex Bonsignor, Edwin Mendez, Dale Salzman, Zachary DeLello. That's a big one right there. Had such a good run going for him, and he's going to be out. Matthew Brown as well, all out from that accident. A lap down include Logan, McKee, Seth Cole, and Carter Friesen are points leader. 26 cars on the lead lap, and a huge jump on the restart by Parker Smith.
Here comes Smith, man. That was a good restart for him. Andrews, I knew that Smith was going to try to get the big jump right there, and that was a heck of a restart.
Side by side for the race lead here at Pikes Peak. And Parker Smith with a huge run on John Andrews, but Andrews trying to hang tough on the outside lane. They all got fresh tires. Andrews might be able to roll that outside for now, but it will be Parker Smith leading with 11 laps to go.
Man, Parker Smith, I'm telling you, that 44 car, he has been really... I think that a lot of people have been sleeping on him today because he has been making his way to the front, and I'll tell you one thing, it's working out for him right now. That 44
Definitely,
car,
you seem to have a very fast car there for NS Racing. Here comes Bobo Jones in the 73 now. Those guys battling side by side has brought the 73 into this mix. Pole Sitter is still yet to lead a lap, but he's still in contention. And how about Lathan Strickland? This is a guy we've not seen much of this season in the Turkey Hill Series. I don't think he's really contended for any race victory so far this season. But here he is inside the top 5, late in the going with 10 laps to go to the inside for third on John Andrews.
Where did he come from, man? He came from out of nowhere. That's pretty crazy.
Good run there for Fisher G Racing, number 88 team. Another Fisher G car up front here. That's Kashawn Richardson, who's a couple laps down at this point. And they're 3 wide for second. John Andrews had a run. Lathan Strickland had a run on Bobo Jones, and that might give the beneficiary to Strickland for that position. And it will. They'll clear him off of turn 2.
Very good. The question is, will the 25 hold up the leaders tier, because that could be also a big issue.
Yeah, we've seen teammates in lap traffic be a very big key. Obviously, Chicago in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Sam and Oskin's teammate Ace Garcia was the one who held everyone up to allow Oskin to get the race victory. And at Hillside, oh boy, we all know Hillside. Shane Lake, Velocity Racing, back in the field. It was his 2 teammates, Thomas Troxel and Nathan Faden, involved in the accident. Who knows? We could see team orders here, possibly. Will Richardson hold up Parker Smith? I think the thing is here, Richardson is just as fast as the 44. He hasn't had enough of an issue, doesn't have any damage to his race car. He just simply fell off the pace because he had to come down the pit lane. But Strickland still in position to possibly catch up to Parker Smith for this race victory here. Lap 34 of 40. Next time by, it'll be 6 laps to go in the Colorado 200 here in the Turkey Hill Series at Pikes Peak. Excellent racing so far here around this 1-mile racetrack. I have a feeling we may come back here next year as well. But Strickland, Andrews, Boyd, and now Josh Williamson in the 5th position for American Motorsports. Great run for American Motorsports here today. Both Andrews and Williamson inside the top 5 late in the going. This race is far from over. Will Parker Smith get it, or will Strickland close in and have a shot at the race victory?
Man, I don't know. That 88, man, I'm telling you, he has been closing in on that 44. If you keep track of them times, let's see what it is. It was 0.48 last time. Let's see what it is this time. It's going to end up being... it looks like
he lost a little bit of time right there.
Yeah, he lost time, actually. That's pretty surprising.
Parker Smith, he's starting to really pace this field at this point. That 44 has been very solid, and we saw it, in that last green flag run, how he was starting to slice through the field. I think we're starting to see the power out of that NS Racing machine here, but it's far from over. That 44 could slip up, slide up the racetrack. That could allow Strickland to close right in. We'll have to see what it is this time by. 4 laps to go at Pikes Peak, and the differential between the two went down by 4/100ths. But it's relatively staying the same at this point, only unless we get a lap car to come in the way, and I don't think that lap car will end up being Richardson here, because he's running just as fast as our race leaders. But it may end up taking lap traffic. If we get someone coming off the pit lane to come in front of the leaders, that might affect who gets the race victory. John Andrews closing in on Lathan Strickland here. That is for the second position. We'll have to see if they battle for second. That's going to be great news for Parker Smith and his hopes of getting this race victory. Andrews is right there for the second position on Lathan Strickland.
We'll see if maybe we see a last lap pass, because we know that that definitely does happen a lot.
Especially with you.
Oh, man.
We'll have to see if that happens again tomorrow. Of course, IndyCar coming here 1 p.m. Eastern Time here on Napa Fan. Definitely looking forward to that one. But Parker Smith looking forward to this race ending 2 laps from now. And him possibly being in victory lane. Andrews to second. And I thought I saw someone coming off the pit lane, but we do.
No, there's
Joshua Rush in the number 98 machine. But he will be far enough ahead. Now, he does have some damage, so we'll have to see if our race leaders close in. Strickland's going to fall back to 4th as Andrews has taken 2nd, but Parker Smith starting to drive away from the field. White flag in the air here in the Colorado 200 at Pikes Peak for Parker Smith.
Yeah, I think he's got it at this point. It looks really good. That battling for second allowed Parker to pull away.
We got another car coming off the pit lane. That's Igor Barretto in the number 2. They're going to be 3 wide ahead of a race leader.
Yeah, if they crash in front of... Nope, they're good.
They will be fine. And Parker Smith, number 44, had the fastest car all day. He's going to get his first career Napa Fan win in the Turkey Hill Series. Parker Smith wins the Colorado 200 at Pikes Peak.
Congratulations to Parker Smith, man. That's really cool for him. I know that he still had 32 closing in, so I bet that was a little worrying. But he got the job done, and congrats on his first career win.
We had a few guys, I think, come down the pit lane near the end there. Carter Friesen was one of them in the 23 machine. And we see them finishing up right here. They all bunched up right ahead of the race leader and all that. But in the end, it was Parker Smith going to victory lane here in the Colorado 200 at Pikes Peak. Great run for John Andrews. And a great run for Ashland Boyd. Even though he was the race leader there for a moment, did fall back and rebounded to a third-place run. Lathan Strickland and Josh Williamson, the top 5 here in the Colorado 200. Very unique race. I wouldn't classify this as a wreck fest, because we did actually have a lot of green flag racing. I mean, at the start of this race, we thought it was going to be a wreck fest. Had 2 cautions within the first 10 laps. But in the last 30 laps, we only had 1 caution. So, worked out fairly well for a lot of guys. Trey Smith finishing 11th. He's going to gain quite a bit there in that North State Racing machine, because Carter Friesen, Josh King, Zachary DeLello, and Clark McKee all had issues. McKee in 29th, Friesen in 30th. DeLello in 35th, and King in 39th. That's going to be great for Trey Smith, and watch out for Trey Smith. That's North State Racing team. They're an experienced team in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, so they have a lot of resources over there. And Trey Smith has definitely proven himself to be a very solid driver. I mean, he won Dover and won 2 super speedways this year as well. 5 races remain in the schedule. We got ourselves Michigan, Watkins Glen, Gateway, Daytona, and Darlington. 5 completely unique racetracks from one another. How do you think these final 5 races are going to play out here in the Turkey Hill Series? Do you think Trey Smith might be the guy to be here in this championship at this point?
Man, I don't know. From what I've seen, from what I've been watching, I think Carter Friesen still is the favorite, but really it's unpredictable. I mean, this series has been so good this year, and it's been a great battle for the lead, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens at Darlington.
And I think another guy to watch out in this championship is Parker Smith as well, because I think he's just outside the top 5, and he just got a race victory here at Pikes Peak. So watch out for both Smiths, Parker and Trey, or 2 of the Smiths, I should say. We got a lot of Smiths in this series. At least 4 of them. Quite a few. But Parker Smith, your race winner here at Pikes Peak. We thank you guys so much for watching. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, it is the International 401 presented by Motor Racing Outreach at the Rockingham Motor Speedway in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Napa Fan, it's the Colorado 80K in the Haas IndyCar Series. You're going to be part of that chase, and who knows, you may get your 5th win of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if you did. It'll be a good one there for the Colorado 80K, 50 laps tomorrow for the IndyCar Series here at Pikes Peak. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Here are the point standings and the real point standings. I know I put the wrong one in last week for Boston. These are the updated point standings after 23 races this season in the Turkey Hill Series. Parker Smith, your race winner here at Pikes Peak. And on behalf of Chase Harris, we thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys later.